Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Basi. Good morning, Vimbai, Rufai, all our viewers out there. We kick off with what to watch this week. A lot of technology, a lot of trade talks. So we've got the U.S.-China talks taking place in London. London Tech Week is also happening from the 9th to the 13th. You've also got Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference happening this week. Spending review from the UK on Wednesday. CPI for the US on Wednesday as well. Monthly GDP for the UK on Thursday, PPI for the US. And in the middle of all that, there's also a number of bond auctions, I think 10 and 20-year auctions that the markets should be looking at in terms of how bond investors are reviewing the big, beautiful bill and debts in the US. To the US trade talks, Scott Bessent is going to be participating. That's the Treasury Secretary. Also, Howard Lutnick as well, the Commerce Secretary, Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, and on the Chinese side, leading the delegation is Vice Premier Li Feng. I always have trouble pronouncing his name. He's going to be also on that side as well. What are the issues that they're going to be discussing and the hurdles? The fentanyl going over the border is still an issue. China wants access to AI chips. The US wants rare earth minerals. And there's also the matter of visas that have been talked about with respect to revoking them for Chinese. Although Trump over the weekend, I think, said that Chinese students are more welcome in the US. To the London Tech Week that's taking place, Jensen Huang, we understand, is going to be meeting with Keir Starmer, UK Prime Minister. Starmer, I think, came out saying that they want NVIDIA to help them scale up tech skills in the UK. Apple, we understand, is supposed to be updating. In fact, the good thing that they put up this chart. So this is technology weightings for tech stocks as a share of market indexes. So you can see the S&P 500 far and away the leader with about 32% tech weighting there. The Asia Pacific stocks 19.4. The MSCI China index is at 8, and the Stock 600, which is the pan-European index, is way behind at only 6%. So the UK, Europe really need to scale up the amount of technology unicorns and companies that they have, because you still have tech companies that are choosing to list in London, list in New York and other indexes. So they really have to pull their weights with respect to tech. I mentioned the Apple hosting the Worldwide Developer Conference this week, and we understand that they want to make improvements to Siri in terms of AI capabilities. They are way behind versus Perplexity, Claude, Gemini from Google, ChatGPT, and the like. So we should be hearing that this week. And then we'll say that Meta could be investing about $10 billion in an AI company called Scale AI. I'm going to get some more details on that. But again, it just bolsters the point that this week is a really big week for a lot of tech news coming out. I think we'll round off with Nigeria. We are expecting, well, look, we haven't gotten Q1 GDP figures yet the non-farm payrolls, really quickly. 139 jobs created in the US in May. Estimates were 126. April was revised downwards to 147. Unemployment staying at 4.2, although we saw a tick up in average hourly earnings. As far as what this means for the Federal Reserve is still not going to make any cuts until they see how tariffs impact the US. Trump came out saying he wants a 100 basis point cut. So I think we're done with the West now. So back to Nigeria again. If you look at what we're expecting for quarterly GDP, historically there's been a slowdown from Q4 to Q1. And why is that? Because when you've got all the spending that happens during the festive period, there's usually a slowdown from Q4 going to Q1. We're yet to get Q1 numbers for 2025. We're waiting for the Bureau of Statistics to release that. But if you look at that chart, look at Q4 2021, it was 3.98. We slowed down to 3.1 in Q1 2022. Same issue, Q4 2022, 3.5. We slowed down to 2.3 in Q1. Q4 2023, 3.46. We slowed to 2.98 in Q1 2024. And then we're at 3.84. Highest GDP growth in about 3 years for Q4 2021. But based on the trend, and since there will be a slowdown in spending and economic activity, I do expect a slowdown of sorts for the first quarter of this year. We should have had these numbers already, but hopefully the Bureau of Statistics will release them this week, if not the next. That's our updates for today.
So for me, I want to talk about something critical, and it's not also part of your update, but it's part of an important national security issue. So since that threat by Elon Musk to be able to decommission the Dragon, it's raised a lot of conversation, really, about where are we going to cross the line where we're allowing tech companies take a very prominent position as regards national security. Because it's indeed very scary that the American government doesn't have proper oversight. And if in a rage of ketamine or something or whatever Elon Musk takes, he truly gives the order, allegedly by the New York Times. He truly gives the order to decommission the Dragon and leaves America at that position. This is also a broader context around the rise of capitalism and the essence of sovereignty of nations. So it's an important conversation we should have at a point in time like this, because this fight has brought to bear many scary factors that we never thought of before now.
For me, looking at the jobs report, I think one thing that stands out to me is the fact that, yes, these are numbers. It shows us that more jobs were gained in hospitality and healthcare. Federal jobs were lost as expected. However, when you look deeper into it, you ask yourself, do these jobs reports really tell us all we need to know? For example, the fact that this is a reflection, the addition of these jobs isn't necessarily that there are more people in the labor market, but more of a reflection of the fact that people are actually taking on multiple jobs now. People are hustling harder. People are having to hold down a couple of jobs to make it through to the end of the month. So I thought it was just interesting for me how you can dissect statistics in so many different ways in order to actually understand what's really happening at the core of the economy. The core of the American economy, just as my position was under Joe Biden, is that the felt economy was tough on people, and the felt economy is still tough on the average worker in America under Donald Trump. No major changes have happened yet. A lot of hiring freezes because people are waiting to see. There's a wait-and-see attitude about what's going to happen with tariffs. So I hope they can tie up tariffs, because that's really causing a big strain with regards to hiring freezes and really making a bigger impact, a growth impact. Well, if it's a growth impact at all on the jobs market.
Indeed.
Okay, the meeting in London this week is supposed to start today and run till Friday, as the Chinese are saying, between the U.S. and the Chinese. This is the second in the series of meetings. First, they had the Geneva talks, and then a lot of tension, accusations on both sides about who is breaching, the details, breaching the terms of agreement of that 90-day ceasefire. And we had that back and forth. But now there seems to be some kind of easing of tensions between both countries. And that's why they are now meeting in London. And President Trump says he hopes that the meeting will go very well. But ahead of that meeting, China has now given approvals for the export of certain rare earth materials to the United States. They had stopped, export of rare earth materials to the U.S. In December 2024. Now, Boeing, on the other side, is also now making deliveries of aircraft to, certain aviation companies in China. So, against that easing of tensions, that's the background against which they are going to have the conversation. The second thing, of course, is that this has, had positive effect today, Monday, on markets in Asia. Asia markets, whether it's the mainland China CSI 300 or the Hong Kong Hang Seng Index or India's Nifty or South Korea's Kospi and Kosdaq, the small cap Kosdaq. We have seen improvement, from between 0.86 with mainland China CSI 300 to about 1.06, with the Hang Seng. So that's the positive mood. Later today, we're also expecting China's trade data. China's data, the estimate is that it will be recording about 5% year-on-year increase in terms of, exports, and a decrease of 0.9% in terms of imports. And then, of course, there's deflation. CPI has gone down by 0.1%, 3.3 producer price index. So a lot of worry within that axis. So those are the details in my view.
All right, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Rotus, enjoy the rest. Okay, no public holiday for you.
No, unfortunately not. No.
All right.